tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Never. I've never tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. I've never tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Not only is he one of the greatest athletes of all time, regardless of doping, he's certainly one of the most intelligent, and that kind of intelligence, there's a certain level of performance involved. The mask, the acting ability that he had was selling a concept to the world, and he succeeded for 7 years.
The source material for the film is his own book. So he was involved from the start, and I spoke to him at length. There's almost no other way to speak to him, as it turns out, about his relationship with Lance and his relationship with the tour, and that was very, very useful.
Well, in a way, the complication is the pleasure. In other words, he did what he did. He basically stole the tour for 7 years, but he also raised money for cancer and recovered from cancer. So you are dealing with a man who's clearly has two sides. I mean, most of us have two sides to our character, and he had it in spades.
Against Stephen's wishes, before we started filming, he said, "Don't reach out to Lance. I didn't meet the Queen to make the Queen." To which it was very successful. I couldn't help myself. The way that I need to work, the way that I can feel comfortable is gather as much intel as possible. So I reached out through one of our crew members who was very friendly with him, and in so many words he said he wasn't interested in talking to me at the time. And again, I don't blame him. I wouldn't want an actor calling me up and saying, "Tell me about you." Yeah. I'd hate that.
Yeah. Dr. Ferrari made a statement about EPO. Do you remember that?
No.
Did you ever visit Michele Ferrari?
I did know him.
How did you know him?
In cycling, you go to races, there are lots of people, small community.
Did you ever visit him?
Did I get tested by him? Did I go there and get consulted on certain things? Perhaps.
So you did. Sorry, just because the tape recorder won't really pick up on your body language. Can I get a yes or a no on that?
Perhaps.
He's about to be tried for criminal conspiracy.
I think the judges and the prosecutors should pursue everybody, no matter who they are, because that's their job.
I guess what I found interesting, particularly about him, was that he had incredible integrity, and he found journalism, truthful journalism, very important. But more than anything, he was a big cycling fan. He would go to the Tour de France long before he was being paid to do so. And when he saw that there was a man besmirching the competition, he really hated that. And I think as time went on and insults and accusations were thrown around, I think he started to develop a personal distaste for Lance. It was important for us to go back to the beginning of his narrative being a young man with great potential who gets sick, faces death, survives, comes back, creates a foundation based on the flame, the match lit on a man coming back from the dead, and then starts winning, and the empire starts growing. When we started this film, it was probably at the peak of being despised within the social media, and it was very important for us to return to the turn in his life where if you face death, if you've faced an illness, it changes your perspective on life. If you've gone to war, it changes your perspective on life. I suppose considering that in a more deep way informed the rest of his decisions in a way that I hadn't considered before.